And through the service process, maybe they can get inclined and see the goodness of,
Yes, but we
task.
have to do it first.
Yes, yes. We have
Here
to
I agree with you completely, Pavitra. Let me share something which happened with my children. Like, I started this journey at a very, very young, not as a youth, but I was 25, 26 when I met my first master, Prabhuji. And he told me to do a havan. छोटा सा हवन कुंड उन्होंने मुझे दिया था, bless करके. Or I was doing Om Prabhu Shanti Havan. He said, you start with that, Smita. Don't ask questions, you just start with that. So, अभी गुरु ने बोला तो हमको करना है. That was my, so I started that. And that time my children were very small. They were just 12 and 14 years old. And they used to get very intrigued. What is mom doing? So they used to say, Mom, can we do this? Can we? So मजे के लिए, मजा आता था उनको करने को. Let me do it. Let me do it. Let me do it. कर करके. But I did, that time also didn't realize the metaphysical effect that was happening on them at that age, at that early age. Today, both the boys are very, very highly spiritual. In fact, Archit is looking after the legal wing of Maitri Bodh Parivar, and they're very, very connected. Though they are highly modern people, they do everything what South Bombay children do, everything absolutely. But internally, so connected to the divine is not funny. So this is, so as you said, it rightly so. If we set an example to the younger generation, if we do it, then they somehow feel like doing it, or they would say कि क्या करते हैं ये लोग, मेरे माता पिता देखे तो सही, हम भी चले. ऐसा we can hope that thing could happen to them.
Yeah, absolutely. It really helps. Spirituality, connecting to spirituality. Spirituality is the intention behind what we are doing.
Absolutely.
So no, sometimes we lose that aspect of it, that spirituality is the intention. That's why, like Smita ji was saying, it is so subtle. Like we say that it's so subtle that we sometimes miss it.
Yes.
It's the intention behind it. So it is very important that we become an example of that subtlety. Otherwise, we will use our false ego to promote what we think is right.
Correct. Absolutely.
And we will not be able to give that intention. We'll only give them tension. We'll only give them tension, not intention. They'll remain in tension. So
nice pun on the word.
So it's very important we give them that attitude. Again, I'm giving there was a friend of mine from Germany. So she was talking about the Hitler's one very close associate who was responsible for murdering millions of people. But once he was getting his, barber had come and, he was talking to him, massage, he was getting it. And he was saying, I'm a great, I really believe in ahimsa or non-violence. And he kept talking about it. So the masochist after some time said, but you are doing something totally different, something completely what is not in sync with what the philosophy you believe in. So this person very seriously says, sometimes certain things you have to do it to make the world a better place. And this shows that sometimes our false ego takes over so much that we are not able to understand what is actually good. So we lose the path on the way. Like we are wanting to do something good, but we do exactly something totally different.
Wow.
This spirituality, the way it helped me very personally in very recent future was that I know I'm announcing it to the world at this point of time, but something which I went through, actually I had I went into a slight depression. The mind started playing games with me. But because of the foundation of spirituality, because we understand that there are three bodies we are: the soul, the subtle body of mind, intelligence, and false ego, and the gross body, which is made up of 5 elements. So, and you understand that the mind is a separate living entity. So I was able to identify that and work towards it. So this is how the change can actually happen, even when things like the mental issues which come up in your life you can really go, transcend with the help of spirituality, provided the intention is right.
Yes, of course.
The intention is the word. Otherwise, we'll remain intention, not intention will not be right.
Thank you for that. Smitaji, share with us a little bit more on what is transformation. So if I say, I want to transform myself, external versus internal, what would you say? Okay, now you are on the journey to run. What is transformation as per you?
As I gave you that example, the earlier example of the
perspective, yeah.
And the whole perspective changes, and it's a holistic change. Your mind will come to rest. You see things from a different point of view as ego, what Pavitra was explaining, the ego. You can very well differentiate that this your ego is acting here and what you have to do with it. Sometimes we fall in the hands of the ego, we don't even realize.
Yeah.
और अपने आप को समझौता करते रहते हैं, नहीं मैंने ये किया, जैसे ये बाबर वाला,
हाँ जी,
हम अपने आप को समझौता करते रहते हैं कि सॉरी मैं जो कर रहा हूँ ठीक कर रहा हूँ, टाइप ऑफ अ थिंग. So we have to understand the difference between that, and that difference, to understand that difference, what I'm doing is not right. My ego is coming in my way. That perspective, to change and understand the perspective, that is what is transformation. Dadashri ji says that transformation is a process. ऐसा नहीं कि आप 2 processes करेंगे मैत्रीबोध परिवार के through या ये whatever now we are offering. ऐसे नहीं है कि आप पूरे के पूरे बिल्कुल transform हो जाएंगे. Besides, again, he says, when you are on the process of transformation, the more transformed you are, people who come in your space automatically feel the transformation. Yeah, they feel that. They feel the love. They feel that calmness. They feel all of that. Now, for me, I would say, being in a film world, I mean, all of us have heard what that Sunehri Dunya is. And now it's been almost 35 years that I'm in the film line. And film stars are extremely insecure, very, very insecure. अगर 4 दिन उनको phone नहीं आता है कोई किसी serial करने का या picture करने का, तो they start getting nervous and things like that. There's always so much of cutthroat competition and all kinds of things that we hear. And I have never gone through all this. Now it's very difficult when I say this at so many platforms that I've not gone through all this. I'm sure people will think झूठ बोल रही है. But I am not lying. It's a fact. I have not experienced any such things in the film line. In fact, it has taught me a lot. Taught me so much, and I have grown. I don't have any skeletons in my cupboard. I don't have all these kind of things. I don't feel insecure. I don't feel jealous. I don't feel anything. Sometimes I have to wonder, something's wrong with me? How can I not feel, or that competitive spirit goes of yours. Things just fell in my lap. Even I don't have anybody in the film world. My entire family is full of lawyers. So I don't have a godfather, godmother, nobody in the film line. चीजें just मेरे पास आती गई. Why and how, I have no clue. So that's the time when I decided, whatever the divine has given me, I will use the same thing to help the divine, or to serve the divine. So that's what I've been doing ever since. So that's actually just my motto, that whoever छोटा सा भी niche crowd हो जो मुझे चाहता है या पहचानता है जो भी, I will reach out to them and return it to them, whatever the divine has given me. That is what my thing is about life. And that transformation I understood only after I came to Maitribodh Parivar.
Great.
I was not aware of all these things. I was not aware what was going on. Not at all. वो जो shift जो आया ना अंदर का, इतने सालों के बाद में जो shift जो मैंने actually tangibly experience किया है, it is not a subtle something. I actually tangibly experienced that shift inside me only after I came here to Dadashri ji, to Maitribodh Parivar.
Right. Mataji, to ask you, I mean, your transformation journey was obviously, you took a different path. Smitaji obviously had her own path. What's your view on your perspective on internal and external transformation? And you're on mute, Mataji, so if you could unmute yourself, that'll be great.
I'm again and again getting out and coming. So I missed what initially was said. So
no, I just asked Smitaji that, how do you describe transformation? I mean, external versus internal. For you, what do you mean by, let's say that, okay, this person is on the journey to transformation, or he has transformed himself or herself. What's your perspective from a spiritual side, and your perspective in general?
So a transformation, the internal transformation which we are talking about, the basis has to be knowledge. knowledge which is spiritual and universal. Like it has to be, it cannot be,
Physical
for me and not for this,
yeah.
and not at a superficial level.
True.
It is at a very internal level, which holds true for everybody. So the knowledge is something which we should accumulate, which is like with truth and values. Values are very important to give to the world at this point of time. Sometimes we get so in the name of spirituality, we become very ritualistic. Yes. And we forget that what are the values behind it. And according to that foundation, we build our intention, like I was speaking about. So the most important thing is, mind can be our best friend or our bravest of enemy.
Absolutely.
So that is one of the things which needs cleaning, because it is filled with, especially at this point of time, doubt, fear, and yes, so much greed, and pride, anger, lust, envy. Everything is just over there. So it's very important for the transformation, internal transformation to take place, is what we take in. What we take in through our ears, what we take in through our mouth, and what we take in through our eyes. So there are various ways, for that. And but the foundation has to be knowledge. Knowledge which is true and holds true for each and every one of us.
And for you, that path has been through the Krishna consciousness.
Yes, for me, that has been what Srila Prabhupada gave, about he started this movement about 54 years back. And at the age of 70, he went there. And the kind of knowledge he told us that our scriptures is our mother. And if we want to know about our father, the only way we can know is through our mother.
Yeah. No, and if you look at it today, the whole Ayurveda, and you talk about, people are really reconnecting with ancient wisdom.
Absolutely.
That has been around in our country for thousands of years. But people are, because there is so much of, chaos in the world, people are going back to the basics, which is our, original texts and scriptures, which have so much of in-depth knowledge, which will help us get past even this current pandemic, so to speak, and more.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mataji, you were saying something.
No, just one thing. So I said, like in our scriptures, it's written that cow dung is pure. And now the world says that cow dung is antiseptic. It has many good qualities.
Yes.
And our scriptures always said it. Our scriptures always said Bhugol. Earth is round. Yeah. But outside, of course, they said it's flat and whatnot. Yes. So all we have to find, all the answers are there with us, like in the form of yoga and Ayurveda.
Yes, absolutely.
And all these different astrology, there are sciences. It's just that now we don't take them as science, but they're science.
Yeah. No, and we talk about calming the mind, which is also probably one of the most important things to transform yourself. And things like yoga, etc., are sort of their focus on calming your breath, calming your mind, which takes you to a more aware state in life, and you can transform yourself through our ancient practices. So, also the other thing I wanted to ask you guys, when you enter, they talk about when you transform, when you enter somebody's house or you're looking to buy a house, you say, iska vibe bada acha hai. You go to a restaurant, you say, this has got a great vibe. Or let's say I'm talking to both you lovely ladies and I say, they've got a great vibe. This vibe is also our energy, right? This comes from somewhere. There is, it's only there in certain houses and certain spaces. It's not everywhere. You don't get the same vibe. And that vibe is probably coming from positive energy that exudes in that environment. So I think if we are able to transform ourselves, that vibe can spread across the world and maybe make for a better place, right? I wanted to share your thoughts ask you your thoughts on this. There is a Japanese businessman and a scientist called Masaru Emoto. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Yes. I know. Yes.
He did an experiment on water.
Water healing.
Right?
Yes.
Where he exposed water to various stimuli. And he took 3 glasses of water, or maybe 4. To one glass, he abused the glass and said, say, I'm going to kill you and do this and the other. To the other, he gave love. To the other, he said, I'm going to nurture you. And then he looked at the molecules of the water under a microscope. And obviously the glasses and even did it with music, Mozart versus jarring music. the molecules of the water were more beautifully formed and more sort of refined when you spoke to the glass of water with love and care versus abusing that glass of water. So,
absolutely.
You guys are, how do you interpret this, and what is your, what's your view on this whole? Why is it like that? Or why, does water have life, and, are you putting good vibes into your body? So tell me about, what do you think about these things?
Well, everything on this planet has got a vibe, whether it is animate or inanimate.
Yes.
Everything. We see things as these hard, solid things, but actually it is not. If you have reached that stage, you can actually see it's not. So everything has a vibe to it. Everything has energy. So energy can only be transformed. Energy does not disappear anywhere. So it just gets transformed. So if there is bad energy anywhere, you can always transform it, like water. If it is a bad energy water, if you give galis to it, it will form, the molecular structure will be not
good for it.
But at the same time, again, if you start saying a song to it, music or this, that, the molecular structure will automatically change. It will come back to its nice molecular structure, just the way other things are. So energy, if you feel it is not a good energy, it can be changed. Similarly, having said that, when you are transformed, your vibe can change the others. So you really don't, as Dadashi ji says, X amount of people, if they are in the transformed state, automatically their morphogenic fields start activating, and automatically everybody will just experience the transformation without you really doing anything for them. So that's how the energy works. Energy fields work.
Right. Mataji, your comments on,
So absolutely. So there are 5 elements, 5 elements. Our body is made up of that. And like everybody, you said, you enter people's homes and you experience different. Yes. So we ourselves also doing that to the body also. We don't have to see the water, what he's saying. We are doing, our body also, is exonerating vibes, different kinds of vibes are there. So by themselves, these all the elements are pure because they are coming from the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Truth himself. And how they become impure is by our doing.
Yes.
When the negativity goes from us to them, and by us means human race.
Yes, absolutely.
It doesn't happen when an animal tries to do it, because animal doesn't have a choice. Humans have. Humans have a choice of how they are going to react to a certain thing. Right. But so all we have to do is, take that pure thing and let it remain pure.
Yeah.
By by not hindering Mother Nature into something which is not, she cannot accept it. Right. So that's what my thoughts are on this, that instead of just unwanted things, like I think Michelangelo said that they said, oh, you carve, so your sculptures are so beautiful. He said, I don't do anything, I just remove the unwanted things. So by self, water is pure, or any element is pure. Yes. We just have to remove the unwanted, which is not required to be there.
Right. So, I know we are getting close to the end of our conversation. The other, I did a chat or a conversation with Avatar Leela a few weeks ago where we spoke about the inner voice or the inner, critic. So, how does one decide whether what your intuition or what your inner voice is telling you is right or wrong? And I don't know if this is a fair question or can transformation and being more aware and connected with, yourself be able for you to understand whether that intuition or that inner voice is guiding you in the right direction, or is it, taking you down the wrong path? What are your thoughts on that?
So when you say you have to connect with the divine, there's always this kind of a dilemma whether I am connected to the divine and if it's a divine voice, or is it my own mind working?
Your intuition,
yeah. What Dadashi ji has told us is, when you hear the voice of the divine, you feel very light and nice at the heart level. But when it is at the mind level, mind will get you into more confusion. It will always be divided. 2 thoughts aayenge hamesha. confusion में ही डालेगा वो, that nature of the mind is such. But when it comes from the heart, when the divine voice comes, it comes from the heart, and it is just bang on the answer. There are no two ways to it. And it makes you feel very nice and good within. Doesn't disturb you. So that's how this question has been asked to Dadashiji many a times on all forums, that how do you differentiate? So this is what he's always said, that this is what it is. And it is a matter of practice. Continuous talking with the divine, being in connect with your own divinity 24/7 will automatically, you will be guided and you will know this is the answer that I got from the divine. It's just a muscle to be built.
Right.
कभी कभार आपको याद आएगा, कभी प्रॉब्लम में होंगे तो आप भी ईश्वर को याद करते हो, अपनी डिवाइन को याद करते हो, and then you don't know whether God has said this to me or God has not said this to me, that kind of a thing. ऐसा नहीं होता. It's a muscle to be built. You have to do that.
Right. Mataji, what's your view on this?
Like Smitaji was saying, that of course we have to be able to understand the difference between the Paramatma speaking and the mind. So in old movies, they used to show two personalities, one good, one bad. So something like that. But saying that, if we are really connected, and sometimes certain things don't happen our way, which if you see so many devotees, over a period of time, you say, oh, why did they take that decision? So I'll quote, I'll speak from Prabhupada what happened with him once. So he would, of course, he could know so many things. Of course, Prabhupada always said we are not into mysticism. So they say mystical things like, knowing your mind, or having an apple and you doing this, and apple coming in your hand, or ashes coming. So that is just transformation of energy. That has nothing to do with transformation of your heart.
Right.
So he would often say, very casually, that, he would say things to people which was there in their heart, or what they were going to go through, but he would not pay much attention. So one of the temples which was coming up, in that, he took it from a person whom he knew is not the right kind of a person. So his disciples asked him, Prabhupada, how come, you took it? He says, sometimes Paramatma reveals, and sometimes for his own sake, he hides.
Right.
And now that the temple is there now, in that very place where the Lord wanted it to, he wanted to show that nothing comes easy. So Paramatma speaks, he's speaking to everybody, but because there is a thick layer around us, we are not able to hear him. वो एक film का गाना है, because Smita ji is there, so I'll say that. He has been saying, देख लो इधर तो एक बार मैं हूं ना. But we don't look at him, and we are not able to hear him because we have kind of put a lot of wax in our ears. And as she said, there is a process, there is a way, especially which begins with hearing, and which can clean this whole, and we will be able to hear, we will be able to make that connection. And that intuition which we talk about is actually the voice of the Paramatma.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you for that. So, as we transform ourselves, like we discussed, our energy obviously will become more positive, and we will probably be able to take more people along with us. Like you said, if you are eluding that positive vibe and energy, and you are transforming, and you're becoming the change for other people to see, we can create this whole larger movement, and what even the Maitri Bodh Parivar is aspiring to do with this session of theirs. If I would ask, let's say I'm a 25, 30-year-old young person, and I have everything going for me in life, what would you tell them that, okay, this is why, or not this is why, we've discussed why, but, a couple of steps, and try this, and then you will see why it's good for you, or why should you do it. So Mataji, I'll ask you first that, I've got a rocking life, I've got friends, I've got money, I've got a job, or I've got a business. मुझे ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. क्यों ज़रूरत है, और कैसे मैं शुरू कर सकता हूँ? Baby steps to get into this frame of mind.
So ज़रूरत नहीं है. I feel that almost everybody knows that the need is there.
Right.
And because internally almost everybody feels it, but we sometimes are hesitant to speak about it because of, we have this major social media telling us about, how good everybody's life is. So you say, how can my life not be good? Yes. Not knowing just before that picture, that person crying or those two people were fighting, and then they took that picture because they want the world to know that, they are fine, because that is the age which is going on. And everybody from internally is looking for love.
Yes.
And nobody wants to be used. But the world where we are living in, we use people and we love our phone, our iPad. We often say that, usse dosti honi chahiye kyunki mujhe kaam aayega. Lekin things, we pick up our phone, I say, oh, I love my phone, I love my iPhone, or I love my whatever, Android or whatever. So if we are able to make that, people aware, because that is the need of the hour. That's why people are rushing towards spirituality. Also because, of course, this is the age for that. And, people are running towards it. So we just have to make it available for everyone. Make it available in the best possible manner. Yeah. That, we give them that what we are doing with spirituality, we are rejecting it without trying it. We say, no, it doesn't work. But you haven't tried it.
True.
We are ready to go so many other ways, but not this. So it works only with trying. If you try it, it'll work.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anyone who said that spirituality has not helped them and take them to, a better place. So that, it's a 100% success rate, so to speak.
And it's not who's not able to, who's not fighting with their mind and their senses and, mind going from here in this direction to that direction. So everybody is fighting for that.
Smita-ji, your views on...
picking up from what Mataji said just now.
Right.
That love is, the whole universe is made of love, and all of us, the whole instinct is only love, and love is what binds everything together. In fact, Dada Shriji's book, there's one book he's written, the cause of suffering is lack of love. The main idea is love, and we feel we are not suffering. Every human being is suffering. The only difference is that you're aware of your suffering or you're not aware of your suffering. I'm not talking of pain.
Right.
I'm talking of suffering, which is a mental thing. Everyone goes through a suffering. Now, having said that, maybe today, as you said, I am very happy and have lots of money, have lots of cars, have lots of everything in the world, and I'm very happy. Why the hell should I get into God or क्यों काम का ये सब चीजें मुझे नहीं चाहिए. But ये सब चीजें अब नहीं चाहिए. अभी है सब कुछ आपके पास. How do you know it's going to remain all your life? That's one. God forbid. I mean, let them remain. I pray to God that whatever they did, happy, each one should be happy in their life. It's like taking this example of Krishna. When Arjuna learned the bow and arrow, he learned it when he was a little child. Is when the Kurukshetra, when the battlefield, when the battle happened, Yuddha happened, that time he was so perfect at it because he learned it at that age. So today when the war started, the battle started, he was so perfect at it. He could use his, he was Dhanurdhar, everybody knows he was a Dhanurdhar. So मेरा ये कहना है कि अब आप ठीक होंगे, लेकिन आगे चल के you can't dig a well when you're thirsty, right? So इसकी preparation थोड़ी सी तो आपको करनी चाहिए कि नहीं? कि जब आपको problem हो जाएगी, then everybody wants answers and everybody wants to get out of that situation. Then they're, कुछ भी करके हाथ पैर मार के मुझे healing करो, मुझे ये करो, मुझे कुछ भी करो. That's a stage of desperation, and I've seen so many people when they're like really in that desperation state, then they want everything, everybody and anybody to help you. But before that, healing apna kaam nahi hai. So you don't know what life has for you, and this is in any way not going to harm you in any which way. It's not taking anything away from you. In fact, it's giving you a lot more than what you even think or imagine. So धीरे-धीरे इस पथ पे चलना क्या बुरी बात है? It will only help you, is what I feel.
Yeah. There's no downside to this, absolutely. And I think, maybe as we go along, Pavitra, I know, is doing, we're doing programs and doing things to get people connected. And so is the Maitri Bodh Parivar. And hopefully we can do things to get younger, and you're already doing stuff with the Youth Foundation, but we can do more to make spirituality more relevant to the younger audience and get more people connected so that, the vibe and the energy that we all elicit becomes more positive and we can get over this challenging time in our lives and transform and be in a better place in the future. So I'd like to thank Radharani Mataji. Thank you so much. Smita ji, thank you so much for coming on our platform. And to everyone, listening to us, thank you. And we hope to have another session, hopefully in person, sometime soon. And once again, thank you and have a pavitra evening.
Thank you, Mataji, for sharing the screen with me. I'm so happy. And Chetan, you're an excellent moderator, I must say.
Yeah.
Perfect questions, very nice questions. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a great evening.
You too.
Goodbye.